Coming up on Mountain News Weekend Edition, COVID-19 cases continue to climb across the country and here in the Bluegrass State. Find out how states are responding to the surge.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Emily Bennett. It was a hot one out there today, and tomorrow looks like another scorcher. Meteorologist Evan Hatter has the details. Evan?
That's right, Emily. The good news is out there right now, things are beginning to cool off. We take a look outside our studio doors here. You can see night has fallen, of course, and we are much cooler than we were earlier today. Temperatures out there right now, some of us still above 80 in Prestonsburg, 81 Jackson and Pikeville, but the rest of us falling through the upper and down into the middle 70s on our way into the low 70s for tonight. That's off our high today. Most of us into the lower 90s, 91 Pikeville, 92 in Jackson, 93 in Harlan, and our big winners today, 94 in Middlesboro. We have more of that coming up on the way tomorrow. Heat is going to be the big story after tonight's quiet night. Chance of a stray storm tomorrow, but I think heat's going to be our big weather maker as we head not just into tomorrow, but into the beginning of next week as well. And I'll have more on that coming up in just a little bit. Emily?
Thank you, Evan. In the U.S., the number of confirmed coronavirus cases has climbed above 3.6 million infections, and close to 140,000 people have died. CBS News correspondent Michael George reports from New York on efforts to slow a summer surge across much of the nation.
The coronavirus continues its relentless march across the U.S. Florida announced more than 10,000 new cases were confirmed Friday. The city of Miami's new mandatory face mask policy kicks in Monday, carrying fines of up to $500. Dr. Michael Sogg, who treats COVID-19 patients in Birmingham, Alabama, had the virus in March.
Walking down the road and I don't see people wearing masks, and I see a total disregard for what's going on in the world around them. I feel compelled to shout from the rooftops what I'm seeing.
18 states are in a so-called red zone, according to an unpublished report prepared for the White House Coronavirus Task Force. Obtained by CBS News, the report says states seeing large spikes should take more stringent and consistent steps to slow the spread.
We've got to do it across the board in those areas. This is serious business, and we can turn it around. If I didn't think we could do it, I wouldn't be so emphatic.
In California, Burbank is one of many areas that have closed off traffic on a main thoroughfare to make way for outdoor seating after the state reimposed restrictions this week.
It's going to be kind of tough trying to adjust to this and sit around people, and even the wind, the way it's moving, you never know. If someone sneezes and while your mask is off.
According to all the guidelines, we shouldn't spend time inside, right? So it's a concern for the family.
Indoor dining, gyms, malls, movie theaters, and more will not be part of New York City's Phase 4 reopening set for Monday. Despite that, Governor Andrew Cuomo says it's inevitable his state will see a second wave of the coronavirus. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Governor Cuomo says the second wave he predicts will come from a lack of compliance and enforcement of prevention measures and from infected people returning from other states. Governor Andy Beshear provided updated COVID-19 numbers this afternoon. The governor announced 583 new cases of COVID-19. That is the second highest number of cases reported in a single day. There are now 22,184 coronavirus cases here in Kentucky. There were 9 new deaths today. The death toll stands at 667. At least 6,824 Kentuckians have recovered from the virus, and 529,481 coronavirus tests have been performed here in Kentucky. For more information on COVID-19, go to our website, WYMT.com. There are now nearly 2,300 coronavirus cases in Lexington, 48 reported yesterday. The virus is greatly infecting the Hispanic and African American communities here in the Commonwealth. In Lexington, Hispanic and African Americans seem to be more affected by COVID-19 as they've been hit disproportionately hard by the virus. In response, the city of Lexington provided free coronavirus tests at Shiloh Baptist Church.
We've obviously taken notice of some of the stories, the increase in cases and the value of getting tested, especially, if you're in a high-risk situation.
Brandy Weiss says it's likely testing will return to Shiloh Baptist Church, but it is planned to rotate to another site first. It is unknown what that other site will be. The Kentucky River Regional Animal Shelter hosted a volunteer work day where volunteers helped to clean up the grounds around the shelter. WYMT's Dakota Makris put on his work boots and has more from the workday.
On Saturday morning, Rachel Sexton and other volunteers mowed and cut branches at the Kentucky River Regional Animal Shelter.
The grass is getting really tall around the building, and it is causing us to worry about snakes.
Worrying snakes could get close to the dog kennels, not wanting to take the risk of them being bitten.
You know, in eastern Kentucky, they're just everywhere. We're right here against a mountain, so I think I would worry more about them coming out of the mountains than just coming in.
For volunteer Rachel Sexton, she has volunteered at the shelter for a few years. She enjoys seeing people coming out to help.
I usually just come and take pictures of the pit bulls because they're usually overlooked, and I grew up with pit bulls and I do rescue now. So it is really special to me because a lot of times you don't see people just here volunteering.
Even the dogs are happy about the hard work the volunteers put in.
They don't want to walk through the big grass, and so they're like, no, I'm not going through that big grass.
Hoping to continue this new tradition for many years to come.
I think that we're going to definitely try and make it annual or biannual even. You know, the grass grows really fast, so it would be nice if we could do it more than once a year.
Are you old? Oh, don't bark.
In Perry County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
A volunteer with the shelter said Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander will send a bush hog to finish parts the volunteers could not get to with their lawnmowers and weed eaters. Lexington cooling centers are open today to help the homeless. The city will operate several locations, including rooms at the Tates Creek Golf Course and Dunbar Community Center. The Catholic Action Center will also be opening as a cooling center. It will be handing out ice packs tomorrow and will have an outside station where people can get sprayed down with water. Jenny Ramsey from the CAC says it's very important to keep people cool and comfortable, especially while we're dealing with a pandemic.
I think that if we all pull together as community, like the Lighthouse has opened a cooling station and the Dunbar Center is going to be open, and a couple of the golf courses, which I've never heard the golf courses opening for cooling centers, and they are. So everybody's pulling together to try to have spaces where people can stay cool and not end up being devastated by the heat, as we all are by this coronavirus.
LexTran will be offering free rides to cooling centers, and the Compassion Caravan ran tonight. The Pie Face Mask Challenge, it's a mouthful, but it's also a face full of pie, but for a good cause. WYMT's Buddy Forbes shows us what this is all about.
It is a COVID-19 challenge.
After the COVID task force and the health department decided to do this challenge, I kicked it off.
Share a selfie wearing your mask properly and watch local leaders try on a different kind of mask.
I get my challenge. Okay.
Before they pass the pie to the next person.
Thank you. Dr. Fauci is well known and beloved in his community, and I knew a lot of people would enjoy seeing him get hit with a pie in the face.
Public Health Director Tammy Riley says the COVID-19 task force came together for the project.
So after 100 individuals have posted pictures wearing their masks properly on the face, I will have a pie in the face by my lovely wife, and she's so excited to do the test for me.
Sometimes laughter is the best medicine, and we're all using the challenge to hopefully ease some of the anxiety in our community while at the same time educating.
So Dr. Fadi Alacross accepted his challenge.
Now let me face my destiny and get the pie on my face.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Before calling on University of Pikeville President Dr. Burton Webb.
Here's the deal. 100 of you need to post pictures in the comments to this video of you wearing your face mask properly.
Making sure to point out the correct way to wear a mask.
If you're wearing it like that, not proper, it won't count. If you're wearing a chin cozy, that doesn't count either. Mask up like this. If I get 100 of them, I'll take a pie in the face.
and waiting for the community to do its thing.
I'm very hopeful that this is going to spread throughout the community and lighten the mood while making people smile and educating all at the same time.
But it is not all about the fun.
And while we're making light at the moment of a small, simple act, it is a very important act that can make all the difference in how our community moves forward during the pandemic.
It is about the future. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The challenge is already leaking into the community. The Appalachian Center for the Arts has now posted a challenge video as well. Coming up on Mountain News Weekend Edition, a doctor is accused of misreading mammograms. A family suing, saying they lost their mother due to misdiagnosis.
And it was a hot day in the mountains, and it looks like tomorrow we'll see heat indices back near 100. I'll have details on just how hot it will get coming up next.